so that I'm recording. And yeah, so my story, my name is Leah. Most of you probably know that if you're here, but so my I've been using Young Living now for closing in on 6 years, which I can hardly believe. So in April of 2022, it'll be 6 years. And, if you want to talk about bringing all your baggage to the table, I'm your girl. If you're like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, and I just don't know if this is for me, but something told me to come here, I'm your girl. So I worked as an emerge nurse for 15 years. I loved my role as an emerge nurse. I loved what I did. I loved that job that I had there. I loved making a difference for people. And I loved the adrenaline of it and the always changing nature of it. I literally wasn't looking for anything else. I didn't think natural things were useful at all. And I was just a hardcore medicine girl. I didn't know why people went to the lengths that they went to use natural things. Like, who cares? So anyway, I got married in 2010. 2 years later, we had our son in September of 2012. And then I had my next son in July of 2014. And then I had another baby, not even 3.5 years from my first. I had her in February of 2016. And so when I actually started with Young Living, I was a exhausted mom of 3 really little kids. And I honestly thought I was drowning. That was a difficult season for me. Everybody has their favorite seasons. And I have to say, this new one that we're in with kids that are like 5, 7, and 9, I'm really loving. But I know that for some, it's that baby season. But for me, I was working. I worked full time up till I had Jack, my oldest. Then I worked full time again in between Jack and Luke, and I was pregnant. And I also had a miscarriage in there, so I was just pregnant for a really long time. And then after I had Luke, I put both boys in daycare, and I came back to work doing shift work, night shift, part-time. And I was already pregnant with Brielle when I went back to work. And so anyway, once the boys were in daycare, we got every cough, cold, flu, hand, foot, and mouth, like you name it, we had it. It was a constant cycle. I was calling my parents to come in. Could they come in and stay with the kids so that we could go to work? I was leaving work to go pick up my kids because they were sick at daycare. I had horrible pregnancies. And so I gave my kids the stomach flu like 2 or 3 times because I thought I was just sick. Like I was always sick. And then I realized, nope, I had the stomach flu. And so it was just a really, really difficult time. Brielle was born in February, and she spent the next 5 days in the intensive care nursery on breathing machines. And I brought her home to a raging respiratory infection. So at that point, my best friend, Dana, was using oils. And so she had been giving me some things to try, and I just sort of haphazardly tried them, and I wasn't really into it. And I just didn't really think that they could work, but she was having some really good success. And I remember saying to her, well, who cares if it's all in your head or it's not? It's it's working for you. And so anyway, finally, my husband, Andrew, said to me, Leah, I don't care what you do, but we have to do something. We cannot live like this. It was just really, really hard. It was a really, really hard season for us. And so in my absolute desperation, I asked Dana to bring me a starter kit. It had a diffuser. It had 11 oils in it. None of them were diluted for kids or anything like that. But I could dilute them. I could deal with it. I could do it. I knew I could. And maybe with my background in nursing, it allowed me to feel comfortable to get my hands dirty in there and do it. I don't know. But I brought that kit home and I purposed to use it for literally everything. I was going to prove that it didn't work so that I didn't have to admit to anybody that I was using essential oils for health and wellness. And so I started putting, so in that kit, there was, like I said, 11 oils. The beauty of the kit was that one oil probably wasn't going to change my life, but 11 did change my life. And that sounds very dramatic. I understand that, but I was going to get that kit. I thought, well, who cares? Like, it's going to last me forever. Why do I won't need anything else, but I decided to go on the loyalty essential rewards program for 3 months, stock up on a few things, and then I could get off and call it a good day, because those bottles were going to last me for a really long time. And so I started using them. I started putting Thieves, which is a blend of 5 different oils that are like Gary Young, who made Young Living. He created it with certain standards. So Young Living is 27, I believe, years old now. Sort of the like the father of essential oils, like good, solid, pure essential oils. The Seed to Seal standard is how we know, and it just ensures purity. It means that the farms, like there's nothing on the plants before they're farmed. They are distilled to the exact science, like science. We're talking meticulous science of how these things are done. We know that it's like purely plant juice in these bottles. Some of the blends have some carrier oil in them, but even the carrier oil has to meet the same standards. So if it's like coconut oil, it has to be like, still has to be pure, and it has to be like the same quality as the oil in it. But any of our singles, they're not dilute at all. They are exactly just the lifeblood of the plant. And what you buy on the shelf could be very diluted. It could be almost entirely synthetic. There's no regulations. They can say whatever they want on the outside of the bottle, and it doesn't have to be true. So that's the big thing with Young Living, is that it's very concentrated. You don't need a lot, but you have to be careful with it and gentle with it for your kids. And you also are going to see the benefit of it. And so that was really big for me. I started putting Thieves on the kids' feet at bedtime. There's lots of pores on the bottoms of your feet, and they absorb really easily and really well there. And for littles, it's really important because for your babies, you want to put socks on it because they can actually reach their feet with their mouth, and they might chew on their feet, and you don't want to burn their mouths with oils. So put socks on, but it can be a really great place to get started because their skin isn't as sensitive on their feet. And always dilute. I'll talk about that. But also, like, they're less likely to like rub it in their eyes or get it on their body, like somewhere that it's going to bother them. So that can be a great starting place. I did that with my kids. And I also put it in the diffuser. So the cool part with diffusing and smelling, just even opening a bottle and putting it under the nose of your child, especially babies, this can be really good for if you don't want to put it on their skin, but you want them to get the benefit. It goes straight in. The molecules of essential oils are so tiny that they pass through the blood-brain barrier. So they actually get to like the part of your brain that regulates everything, your pituitary gland. They get in there really easily. And so Thieves, depending on the bacteria or the illness, like it varies. It's not a 96% success for everything, but it has been shown in scientific studies to decrease the air load of like viruses and bacteria of up to 96%. And like I said, that's not like, it varies from, call them germs, like bacteria to bacteria, germs to germs. But anyway, So things for sleep, really great to diffuse. Things for wellness, really great to diffuse. Things for like, even if they're just a bit sniffly and stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure, I'm not really ready to put it on their bodies. The diffuser can be such an incredible tool. And in bedrooms with your children, you only need 1 or 2 drops. So these bottles last you for a long time, and you only need 1 or 2 drops. You might want to keep the door open, but they're going to be fine. Like, it's so great, you guys, because all of a sudden your world is expanded to the tools that you have for your kiddos. And it's a beautiful thing. I know for me, I was like buying Costco out of Tylenol and Advil, and I had all of the weight calculations per like what we would do in the ER on a graph in a thing for my husband, give them this much, drop this much, here's a syringe, do this. But then we had to wait, right? Whatever was going to happen was going to happen. We weren't going to fix the problem. We were just going to get by. So all of a sudden now I have these tools, and you know, we had been sick for honestly 9 solid months. I think we had maybe 4 to 6 weeks intermittently of being well in that time frame, but 9 months. And I started using oils, thieves on their feet. And within about 3 weeks, it took us a while to get our immune systems up to par. My oldest, Jack, with weekly daycare, he did not get a runny nose for 9 months. I was like, well, summer, I'm not sure. Like, summer is a low season for colds and flus. So let's see what happens in the winter. He went that entire next winter without a runny nose. It doesn't mean we don't get stuff, but every time somebody starts to sniffle in this house or sound congested, I hit them with all the things. I use things like elderberry syrup, and I make my own, but you can buy it at a health food store. I use oils, I diffuse oils, I put oils on their bodies. You know, I give them whole food vitamins. Young Living has a really great vitamin for kids, but I also sometimes just get stuff from the health food store, just depending on orders and availability and stuff. But yeah, just allowing their bodies to do what they're supposed to do and fight things off and support them. Jack has been known to say to me, so now we're going on close to 6 years, that's daycare, weekly daycare, that's daily school. Now all 3 are in school this year, it's first time. But Jack has been known to say to me, like, what does a kid have to do to get a sick day around here? Like, they just are not sick. And so I always just laugh when he says it. And he's like, I mean, I can't expect to have a day off around here with a mom like you. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, like a mom that uses oils, because like you just keep us so healthy. And they know, like, that's the thing that makes my mama heart so happy, is that these kids know that I'm doing the things to them. And so they get all of this stuff, but then we stay so much healthier. So as I got into it, I started making rollers. So I love this method because you can take these, you can order these on Amazon and see they have like a little roller on them. So I started buying these, and then I would put drops in here. And then I just take, like, you can get, you could use vegetable oil, but it's greasy. But Young Living has like a V6 vegetable oil that's very light. I love that one. But even just like a grapeseed oil or something, it's really light. It's really, it doesn't have a scent. It doesn't really linger. And then I just fill it to here. And then these are just ready to go. I can throw these in my purse. They're already diluted for my kids. And then I just put little labels on them. Like this one says tummy ache. I don't know if you can see it. So this one I sent to school with my one kiddo that gets a nervous stomach and he gets tummy aches. And so he could just keep this in his desk. His teacher was fine with the scent of it. And he could just like rub it on his own tummy or on his wrists if he needed to. And it just gave him a tool. And that's the fun part of it too, is that they benefit them, but they also gives them some control over themselves. And it teaches them to choose things. Like my kids frequently now, after 6 years, and they're big enough, I would not advise just letting your small children go rogue on the oil shelf. You want to be careful with them and protect them. But now the kids just go and help themselves. They know what they like. They know what they need. They know, like, sometimes they ask me for help, but they have certain oils that are their oils and they love them and they'll grab them themselves and they'll use them. So nothing makes me happier than having, like, so this is a kid roller. It's called TGIs. It's the US version is Tummy Jies. So it comes, and then in this bottle, already pre-diluted, all the kids ones do. I just put a little roller filament, you can buy these at Young Living, on it. And then if car while we're traveling, then I just throw this into the back seat if they need it for their tummy, and they apply it themselves and then they give it back to me. And it has saved us so many times. They have a sore throat, they have a canker, they have an earache, they have something. I can almost always use an oil in the car on the way and we can deal with it because there's so much. These things are so versatile. So I got that box and I purposed to use it for everything. I needed to get Sharpie off of my white countertops. I used lemon oil and some baking soda. It scrubbed right off. Jack was from the neck down covered in eczema, and the doctor, we had tried everything, like everything. She had finally prescribed this really strong prednisone cream, and the pharmacist sort of reluctantly gave it to me, and was like, they didn't really want my 3-year-old on this. So I used it pretty sparingly, but I thought, well, I'm going to try some oils. And I took a little dish, just a clear dish. I put a tablespoon of coconut oil in it, and I dripped probably about 8 drops of lavender and 8 drops of frankincense into the dish, stirred it up, started applying that to Jack's eczema. And within 3 weeks, he was completely clear. And I will say that this journey has brought me to a place of realizing that the things on the shelf actually aren't that great for our kids. Or for any of us, actually. There is a lot of, it might be in low doses, but there's lots of things that disrupt the entire endocrine, which is like your hormone system in your body. Hormones are responsible for sleep, for hunger, for fight or flight, for all like your hormone and reproductive issues, like your stress responses, like everything. Your hormones are like the motherboard of your body and how you respond. So there is actually, in most products on the shelf in the store, there's actually hormone disruptors in them. I know that sounds weird, but it's actually sadly true because there's very poor regulation. I could go into a whole different conversation about that, and I will do that at a different time. There's also lots of that have chemicals or toxins in them that over time and repeated use, which if you think about the products that we use, it's over time with repeated use, can cause cancers too. And so cancer rates are actually 1 in 2 in Canadians. Like that is a frightening statistic. So it became vitally important for me to start caring about the products that I use. So Young Living, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it has an entire lifestyle of products. So cleaning products, personal care products, kids shampoos, kids body wash, kids toothpaste, some of that you order on the US side. I'm hoping it'll come to us really soon. But it's not here yet, but you can order it. You can still order it through your account. You can use points if you're on the Essential Rewards program. And so the more I started swapping that stuff out, the more that also helps your immune system, because those things actually tear down your immune system over time. There's lots of data and science, and my science nurse brain wants to tell you all about it. But I also don't want to keep you forever and ever. A few things that I will say, you can use these from birth to death, essentially. There is something for everyone. There is oils that will benefit you regardless of your age. But of course, our littlest people, they have thinner skin, they have more sensitive skin, and they don't need as much. And so you want to be diluting. On the, like, if you just think, people often ask me, well, how much do I dilute this? How much do I dilute this? So you will get the hang of it. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. On sort of a general rule, if you've never used oils on your kids before, and certainly with babies and little babies, I will talk about a few exceptions to using them on the littlest babies, but the idea of like 30 drops of carrier oil to 1 drop of essential oil. So I think that would be probably maybe a teaspoon, I should measure it out, but like a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of carrier oil to like a drop of essential oil, sorry. So to start for babies, as you move up to 2 to 5 years old, you could go down to like a 1 in 10. So that's a great place to kind of start. To be honest, there's certain oils I'll just put straight up on my kids if I don't have any carrier oil handy, but I've been using their, like I call them, like they've been oily now for like 6 years. And so I know what they respond to. I know which ones, like thieves, peppermint, cinnamon, clove, those kind of things. They feel hot on your skin. I even dilute those for myself. And you know, dilution for yourself is just up to comfort. It doesn't, you don't have to, but it's a good idea. They actually last longer on the skin because the fat-based oils like coconut oil or grapeseed oil or vegetable oil, or like you can use anything, almond oil, those don't dissipate off of your skin the same way. And so they actually hold them there longer, and you get a longer lasting benefit from them. If you have tight shoulders, you actually only need a drop or 2 of like Panaway. But it's hard to massage that into this whole area. So if you put a little bit of carrier oil in your hand and 1 or 2 drops, it just is easier for spreading around. So those are sort of the ideas if you're first starting, or with babies, I would say up to like for sure a year, you know, just depending on your comfort level. If they're new, like up to 2 years, I would do like a 1 to 30 on average. And the thing is, it's common sense. So don't use 6 or 7 or 10 drops on your kid. Just use 1 or even like a partial drop once you've diluted it. And then as they get bigger, you can kind of decide. So this book, Gentle Babies, it's written by a lady. She uses Young Living. She does like aromatherapy and stuff. And she worked with a bunch of other moms that also use oils and have like aromatherapy and some like natural, like naturopath like degree and stuff like that. Together they made this book. And I love what she says in, sorry, I should have found the page first. She says here that historically there's been incident throughout this book. There's some oils mentioned that you may have heard in the past, because there's so much information about essential oils out there that you may have heard in the past. They are dangerous. So you do want to use your own judgment, and you're the mom. So, you know, you do what you feel comfortable with. Don't let anyone tell you that you must do it a certain way. But anyway, historically, there have been instances where non-therapeutic grade, so that's these oils that have lots of synthetics in them, but there's nothing listed on the bottle. But if you pick up a bottle of oil, like for Young Living, you will just see the scientific name attached to every oil. So cedar wood and like, for example, this one, let me just pull open the label here. If you want to look at the labels, and you can peel them back, and the info is actually in here. And so it says, you know, Boswellia sacra resin oil, but that's like sacred frankincense. Or, you know, there's always like Pica Mariana is Northern Lights black spruce. So you always want like a scientific name that tells you what plant family it's actually from and that it's actually from a plant. But if you peel the label back or read like at Walmart and you picked up essential oil that says 100% pure on the bottle and you look at the back and it says fragrance or perfume or anything else that isn't just like a plant name, that means there's other things in it. It's not pure and it's not necessarily safe. So just helpful tips. Where non-therapeutic, adulterated, synthetic, or poor quality have caused a problem for women, especially during like pregnancy, be sure to check the scientific name. And then in her book, Clinical Aromatherapy, Essential Oils in Practice by Jane Buckle, PhD with an RN with her PhD, says there is actually no record of abnormal fetus or aborted fetuses to normal use of essential oils by inhalation or topical application. There's no record that a few drops of essential oils have ever caused problems. And she goes on to say that using common sense and your own judgment can be very, allow that to guide some of your practice. So there is some studies, if you Google it, you will find actually a ton of scientific articles and studies on the incredible use and benefits of essential oils for everyone. But you'll also find some stuff that's like, oh my goodness, eucalyptus. I think there's one that says eucalyptus causes seizures. Maybe it's peppermint. Eucalyptus or peppermint causes seizures in children. If you actually only read the title, you would freak out and never use those oils on your kids. However, if you read the article, and I do love to read these papers, is it actually had 4 kids. One of them drank they didn't say what kind of oil, like it was eucalyptus, but like the brand, so you have no idea, but they drank a 30 ml bottle of eucalyptus. So that's not good. I wouldn't recommend that ever. It's like Tylenol. You can give your kid Tylenol and it's not dangerous, but if you let them drink the whole bottle, that's dangerous. Like that's common sense, that's safety, that's not whether or not you should or shouldn't give your child Tylenol. You just shouldn't give them the whole bottle. So one of them drank a whole bottle. So that's not really the same as it causing seizures. 2 had known febrile seizure disorders, and they had gone in the bath and put a little bit of oil in the bath that they were bathing in. And the children had history of febrile seizures. And then they had a febrile seizure. So there's actually no way to track that it was exactly the essential oil that caused the issue. And then the third one that they talked about wasn't even a child. It was an adult with a seizure disorder. I think epilepsy. So that was a whole study that was not really true or good. But when I listened to a pharmacist discuss these things, they said to me, or they said when she was teaching that, I don't know if you've ever like blown in the face of a baby, but a new baby, if you blow right in their face, they can almost do this and they like stop breathing for a second and then they'll start again. So it's like they catch their breath, but they have this underdeveloped like reflex and it causes them to stop breathing for a moment. So strong essential oils do that to babies. It's not the actual essential oil that causes them to have that. It's the smell caught, like it's startling to them. And so I couldn't find, before I sat down here, the actual article to talking about this. But I can look for it if you want it. But so basically things like peppermint, eucalyptus, some of those really strong smelling oils, I would avoid them for your littlest babes. There's other things you can use. Frankincense, if they're chesty or congested. Copaiba is a great one. Sniffle Ease, it's called Refresh in Canada. This one's pre-diluted. For your littlest, like your new babies, I would even probably dilute out the kid oils a little bit more. But in general, for I would say like a year to 2 years and up, you can just use them straight out of the bottle. But so there's other things that you can use. Like I said, if you put it on their feet, just put socks on or put them in their sleeper so that just they're not getting it in their mouth and getting really upset. If you put an oil on and they seem a bit fussy or their skin gets a bit red and you feel, or you're just worried you didn't dilute it enough, you can always put more carrier oil over top. Don't use water. Don't ever try to wash oil off with water. It'll only drive it in deeper. So anytime with any of your kids, if you get it on them or in their eye or anything, like literally, even if it's in their eye, just rub carrier oil around the outside of their eye. It'll get in there. It will stop the stinging. I have been there. I've been there countless times. I've put my own contacts in and got it in my eye. I've used carrier oil. You're not going to harm them. If it's stinging, just add more carrier. It's okay. They're going to be fine. Just add more carrier. So the one caution that I always tell people is that wintergreen oil, and it is in some blends, it's in the Raven blend, which is for chest, colds, coughs, stuff like that. Raven has wintergreen in it. Panaway, I love it for my kids' growing pains, and Copaiba together. You will thank me for that. If you have kids that wake up in the night with growing pains, you can stop them in their tracks. You can get them back to sleep quickly, and then you can go back to sleep too. So you're welcome for that. But Panaway also has wintergreen in it. Wintergreen is totally fine for kids, but it is chemically made up. It is 97% the same as the synthetic aspirin. So you don't give kids aspirin. In general, we just avoid aspirin because in the presence of a fever, it can cause this Reye syndrome. And I was getting into it, but anyway, you've probably heard, don't give children aspirin. So in the presence of illness or fever, I just withhold wintergreen from my kids for that reason. As a piece of like a blend, it's probably not actually going to do anything, and it's probably not a huge risk. But just to be on the safe side, I choose, if my kids have a cold or they might have a fever or anything like that, I avoid wintergreen. So that is the one that I avoid in that situation. Other than that, like I said, when Brielle was really little, I didn't use the blends like peppermint and eucalyptus, or blends that had that really strong smell right by her face. I would just use other things. And there's lots that you can use that are very mild and they don't have as strong of a scent, and they can be really great. This book, you can, I have like a PDF of an older version. If you want it, I can email it to you. Just send me your email address. But then this one is like the 10th anniversary. You can order it through growinghealthyhomes.com. And I love this book. It has like tips for anything from baby acne and back pain and fungal infection, like all kinds of things. It's got lots of great tips in it. So this is a really great book, and it's a really great resource. And one other thing that I've seen studies on, and people are like, oh my goodness, lavender causes swelling in boys, breast swelling in boys. So the study that came out of that caused pandemonium and harm and whatever was basically they were using products that were not pure oils. It was products that had lavender in them. It didn't say what they were. It didn't say what kind of lavender it was. It didn't say if it was pure, but all of those scented personal care lavender type products, the large majority of them actually have hormone disruptors and endocrine disruptors in them. So there was literally no proof in the article or in the paper that showed any indication of that it was actually the lavender at all. So it was much more likely that it was some of the other things that were being used in the product that was causing like the potential for this. So in all, if you use your common sense and you start low and go slow, you can do so much with these things. You can use, like I said, you can pop rollers on them. I like little dishes for things like creams, like for eczema and stuff. I'll take a little dish of like solid coconut oil. Works so great. Add some oils, mix it up. My son gets cankers and I take a teaspoon of coconut oil. There's Alkaline is a supplement that Young Living has. It's a powder and it neutralizes acid. And it's like an Alka-Seltzer kind of thing, but it's through Young Living. I'll put like a quarter of a teaspoon of that and some clove and copaiba. Copaiba is really great for inflammation, and clove can just help numb it if it's dilute. And I give them these little like dishes of it, and they can just apply it. Brielle like kicked a canker in less than 24 hours just using her little thing. Jack uses them all the time. They're so helpful. I make rollers for the kids to have. They each have a little oil shelf in their bedroom now for their growing pains, for their tummy aches. We use these for moods. We have some mood buster oils. They are very powerful. If they're like in a bad mood and then they're like, don't put oils on me, I'll diffuse it. That can really help. Sometimes we make a game of it and I kind of chase them and they think it's funny. And then we have put some oils on. But these tools have changed our world. We are healthy most of the time now. It doesn't mean we don't get something, but we have a handful of things that I get to do and help my kids with. I can help them with their growing pains. I can help them with their earaches. I can help them with their sore throats. And it works so fast. Like it's so much faster than medication because it absorbs and it gets into the cells so quickly. And then it actually just helps your body come back to doing what it's supposed to do. It supports it instead of like tearing it down or masking something. So anyway, I could like honestly talk about this. I was going to talk for 20 minutes and I've been talking for but I want to answer your questions if you have them. I want to help you feel comfortable using them. The kid line, there's Kid Power. I forgot to grab it. It is, if you use oils already, it's like kind of like the kid version of Valor, and it honestly smells like orange creamsicles. Like it is amazing. I actually use it a lot for me. And you can order that one on the US side, but we have Genius. This one is for focus. So if you have kids at school that struggle with some focus and stuff, or I actually will put this on my own temples sometimes just to get stuff done. So Genius is a great one. TGI's is for tummies. We go through bottles of this. And I have them like one in my purse. The kids have them in their rooms on their little shelves. We use this one a lot. Refresh is great. It's for runny noses, coughs, colds. The bottom of your feet have things called VitaFlex points, and they're just basically, they correspond with different parts of your body. and I can put some pictures in here too if you want, but the base of the big toe corresponds with your sinuses. So I love putting this or some RC at the base of my kids' big toes if they're a bit sniffly, and it dries up that runny nose so nicely. It just, at least it slows it down. This one, Sleepy Eyes, this one I think is from the US side. The Canadian version, they're all the same. They just have to have different labels. Is called Dream Ease. So that's a great one for sleep. It's great for the diffuser. Young Living actually has a starter kit like I got, which is 11 oils. You just dilute them yourself. They're so amazing. And then they're something for everybody. But they also have a kids starter kit, and it comes with these 5 oils and this adorable little owl diffuser. I don't have one here right now, but it has like white noise. It lights up like a night light. Anyway, it's so fun, and it's so fun for kids' rooms. So there's the starter kit like that too. And so Kid Care, this is honestly the last oil you'll ever need for like cuts, scrapes, bruises, boo-boos. I use this for myself all the time. It's like honestly one of our most well used and loved oils. The US version is called owie oil. So that's what we used to call it all the time. And so for all of your owies, if you burn yourself with like a flat iron or doing your hair, nothing staying out like Kid Care. So anyway, this one is great too. So if you are here and you want to comment, I'm going to send out some little samples of these to 5 lucky winners that comment in these like little adorable like rollers. You can get these rollers on Amazon. I made an immunity one for my kids with some thieves, frankincense, and oregano, or from the starter kit, I think I used thieves, purification, and frankincense. And you just put a few drops in and carrier oil, and then I'm ready to go. Like before kids go to school, before they went to daycare, on their feet, before bed. So it just helps keep it tidy, but you have them on hand and ready to go and pre-diluted. So they have lots of these on Amazon and as well. So I thought I would get on the Essential Rewards program for 3 months and get off and never need it again. Over here, you can see I have like, this is just for my family. I have like a whole drawer full of extra oils because I never want to run out. I have like, they have oil infused, like the best supplement line ever, cleaning products, dish soap, like all these things, you guys. Like I remember having to mummy up a child and rinse and flush his eyes because he got a Tide Pod in his eyes for literally hours. And it was heartbreaking for the parents. It was heartbreaking for the staff. It was heartbreaking for this child. And you know, it was just an accident. And that's the thing, like my own kids used to fight over who put the Tide Pod in the laundry. And having products in the house, cleaners that are plant-based, that my 2-year-old can have his own spray bottle at the time, was like a game changer for us. My kids can clean, they can help, they can do stuff. I don't have to, like, nobody's going to drink it. Nobody's going to get into it. Nobody's going to be harmed if they get it in their eyes. Our dish soap is clean. Our laundry soap, this stuff is on their skin, in their clothes all the time. All these simple little changes make a world of difference in the long term to what your kids are exposed to and what kind of illnesses they may end up with. And lots of that long-term stuff, they say that 5% of like cancers are genetic and 95 is environmental. So the more we make our homes as safe as possible for our children, the less we have to stress about the fact that it's life. Like you can't keep them from having like eating things that maybe aren't our process. You're not going to keep them from using chemicals and toxins out there, but in your own home, the more you make those changes at home, the more the better chance you're giving them to just stay healthy and well. And as a mom, the tools that I have been given and gifted have been amazing. And so I have not missed a month in almost 6 years of ordering. And we just swapped it out. Like, instead of going to Walmart, which it feels like when I do go there to buy something, like one thing, I come out with like $150. So I swear this program, it gives me now, after 2 years, it gives me 25% back in points. 25%. That's actually so much. And for the first 3 months, it's 10%. The next up into 2 years is 20, and then it goes to 25. And so I get 25% back from every order to spend on free things. I get freebies, extra freebies. Every month has freebies depending on what level of spending you have. So this is just swapping things out. If you need shampoo, you buy it from Young Living. If you need cleaner, you buy it from Young Living. If you need some more oils for your collection, for all of your sort of general needs, add some oils. Or maybe you just buy all of your makeup, your personal care, all of these things that are good for you and they're good for your body. And then maybe you use your points to stock up on oils. Like, there's so many different ways you can do it. And it's honestly the best. I just comes to my door. And when I was new to this, I didn't have time to read labels. So I needed a company I trusted to be transparent, which is Young Living. I had 3 kids in 5-point harness car seats, and it was exhausting to go out of the house. Also felt super dangerous to wander through a parking lot with 3 toddlers or babies. And so it was like a game changer for me to get this stuff into my own home on my doorstep, safe, effective products that I didn't have to even leave the house for. So you guys, like I said, I could go on and on. This is so near and dear to my heart because, for one, I want us to give our kids like literally the best chance they have to be healthy and well. 2, as a mom, my passion is to come alongside other moms and make life a little bit easier, because momming is hard. It's a hard job. And I always joke that moms don't let moms do life without oils. So you might want to try, that's fine. I'm not gonna harass you and chase you down and make you do it. But that being said, to have tools handy all the time. When my kid says to me, my ear hurts, mommy, my ear hurts. Oh, I have something for that. I have a growing pain. I have something for that. I can't sleep. Oh, I have something for that. I have a tummy ache. Oh, I have something for that. I cut myself. This will take the sting out of that right away for you. Like, Brielle touched the fireplace glass the other day and her hand just really hurt. And within seconds, she stopped. Like, our neighbor kid got stung by a bee or a wasp this summer, and he was literally like screaming. And I put some purification right on the spot. And within seconds, he's like, it just doesn't even hurt. Like, it's so fast, and it's so wonderful to always just have that on hand. So this, I just love to share because it matters so much. It matters so much on all these levels. And I'm here to help you and support you and teach you and make sure that you feel like you're doing it right, or there's no wrong way, but that you feel like you're getting the hang of this so that it can be a game changer for you too. So anyway, reach out if I can help you. You have questions, like anything. So I hope you guys have a really, really great night. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys soon.